Armstrong breaking it all down. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Robert Ory. You've won 7 titles. You've won 3. We got Allie Clifton here. We got Brez working remotely. Treadell. They'll have all the interviews for you. The Lakers do something they have not done yet in the bubble. James and Rob. They lead a series 1-0. An absolute dominant performance, both ends of the floor.
Yes, it was a killer performance by the Lakers. Defensively, I like the way they put Jokic on notice, and they said, you know what, we're going to bully ball you, we're going to play you rough. We're not going to let you just be comfortable out there. I always talk about when the offense can come down and run their system comfortable. And if you want to go out and say, hey, I'm going to make you uncomfortable, I'm going to get up in you and make you do some things you don't want to do. But, you know, Murray had a good game, but the key is keeping everybody else down. They kept Jokic down, and I talked about Harris in the pregame show. They kept him down. So the defense, we can talk about the offense, them scoring 126 points, but the defense was great, I thought, on the key guys.
Yeah, I thought in the playoffs, it's all about disruption. You know, 7 games, you're going to have to disrupt something. I think the time off for the Lakers paid off. They did a really good job of disrupting, you know, the offense. I thought Dwight Howard coming in, getting physical with Jokic, kind of got him off his game a little bit, because now you got to, you know, you just can't move freely like you want to. Rondo, an exceptional game, 9 assists, no turnovers. He set up so many people tonight, particularly the bigs, and he also scored. So I think overall the Lakers did a good job. You know, they did what they're supposed to do in game 1. They are the better team, I think, collectively. And I think they set out notice that this is who they're going to be playing against. Defense was outstanding.
Glad you mentioned Dwight. I feel like everyone thought, oh, we got ourselves a series the minute Dwight came in the game, and he got everyone going for both sides. Let's check in with Mike Treadell. Dwight is standing by.
All right, Dwight Howard, you entered the game in that first half and just made an immediate impact on Nikola Jokic. You had talked about how it was important for you to stay up at this level after not playing as much in the Houston series. How did you stay engaged like that mentally and come in and make the kind of impact you made tonight?
Well, you know, I knew that last series, Coach, he told me before the games that, you know, it's going to be tough for the bigs to play because of how Houston played. So he said just be prepared for the next series, get your mind and your body right to go to battle against whoever we play next. And that's what I try to do, just stay in the gym, stay focused, and stay locked in.
Dwight, you had 2 blocks and 2 steals in the first 4 minutes that you were in the game, so I think that backs up your last point. But what was the defensive game plan for you guys as a group that allowed you to impact the Nuggets like you did, especially in those middle 2 quarters, holding them to about 20 points per quarter?
Just be physical, just agitate them, just pressure the ball, you know, make them make tough plays, and just stay locked in. You know, they're a very good offensive-minded team. They got a lot of guys who can put big numbers up. So the biggest thing to do is just be aggressive, but use our intelligence. You know, we got some very smart basketball players on our team, and we want to use that against this team.
Dwight, you guys had lost game 1 of the first 2 series before rolling off 4 wins in each of them. Did that impact at all your prep for this one and wanting to get off on the right foot from the jump against a Denver team that had just played a tough 7-game series?
It did. It's very true. You know, we didn't want to come out tonight and give them any confidence or hope. We wanted to come out tonight and smash them from the beginning of the game to the end. And I thought we did that for the most part, you know. So we know they're a very good team. They're well coached. They have a lot of guys who can come in and, you know, do some great things. So we didn't want to give them any confidence.
And Dwight, just last one for you. What's it been like for you playing next to LeBron and AD? The length, the athleticism of that unit. You came in, you started the second half. What's important with the group that you guys have there and all that size?
Well, one is experience. You know, we played a lot of games in this league. We've been to the playoffs. You know, LeBron has been to multiple finals. So is Doe. And, you know, we just want to go out there and just give everything we got. You know, we're one step closer to all of our dreams. So we know how important this game was. And we just are glad we just came out and did what we were supposed to do.
All right, thanks a lot, Dwight.
I want to talk Dwight first because Mike just talked to him. 16 minutes. 13 points, got to the line, was disruptive, caused havoc, but also, I'm trying to find the right analogy, but it's almost like you were just in your house and you weren't allowed to go play when all your friends are out there and you're just waiting, but you got to finish up your chores, or whatever it is, for like a week, and then all of a sudden Mom and Dad said, go ahead. I mean, he went out there with some energy, maybe some pent-up frustration, whatever it was, and just took it to him, James, from the get-go. And when I say earlier it became a series, all of a sudden Dwight was John. Things were getting chippy. Nuggets started talking. I'm like, here we go. This is what it's got to be. This is the Western Conference Finals. But then Vogel starts him in the third quarter, and that's when the Lakers made that huge run.
Yeah, I think, Dwight Howard and McGee had probably the best attitudes on the team because they're not just sitting over there, waiting for playing time. They're over there helping teammates out, and they're also studying, what they need to do. I think both he and McGee, Howard and McGee, knew that coming into the Nuggets series that they were going to have a role to play. And I'm not talking about scoring a lot of points or anything like that, even though they're both capable. Dwight Howard is physical, and Jokic gets to run freely. He gets to roam. And I think just bumping him a little bit, getting in his face, bodying up with his arms, frustrating him. I think that was key, slowed him down. And then at the same time, Dwight Howard does what he does best. He blocks shots, he gets alley-oops, he rebounds, and he just gets in the way. And I think that's a big role that he's playing, and I think it's going to have to continue against this team.
I think the biggest key is if you look at this Laker team and you said, who are the two strongest guys on this team? You're going to say LeBron and Howard. And if you look at the way Jokic plays, he's very crafty. He reminds me of Karl Malone where he sticks that big chicken wing up and he pins you. Yeah. And with Dwight, you can't do that with Dwight because he's too big, he's too strong, so you can't move him as easy. So it's frustrating Jokic. And so now Jokic has to go back into the lab and figure out what does he have to do against Dwight. But then if that works against Dwight, you bring in McGee. So you got an array of guys you can throw at him to keep him off balance.
Rob, I can't hammer home this point enough. How hard is it as a player, and you guys know, to not play in a series, to watch in a bubble and just watch your team win, cheer everybody on, stay mentally engaged and physically? You have to play 5-on-5. You got to keep your cardio going. How hard is that for a guy that's been in the league and done what he's done?
I know how hard it is. James has never experienced this, but I got my first DNP in a playoff game.
When was that?
And when I was with the Spurs, my last year with the Spurs. And it did something to me mentally, but I realized it's bigger than me. And so the first game that happened to me, I was like, oh, crap, what's going on? And I'm hating everybody, storm out the locker room. But you can see these guys. It doesn't bother them. And I love the fact that Vogel went to them before the game and told them what's going on. That's a sign of a good coach because a lot of coaches, you be sitting there waiting when your minutes come up, oh, where am I? So
you didn't know you
didn't notice, but when the coach comes to you and tell you, hey, this is my game plan, guys appreciate that. It's like, okay, you let me know I'm not just floundering in the wind. So he tells the guys that he's not going to play, but stay ready because we're going to need you in the next series. And you can tell Dwight Howard was like that kid, has been locked up on a snow day, and now he gets to go play, and he's playing. So he's taking advantage of his opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, here's a guy that when he joined the Lakers, we all know the history from 8 years ago. It was the first year of our network. We all know what happened the next 5-6 years, changing teams all the time, and he comes over on a non-guaranteed contract. He had to be on his best behavior, but he just continued down that path. But from, what was it, game 1, game 2, James? The crowd embracing Dwight, it was just complete turnaround. And to see this tonight, awesome.
Yeah, Dwight has evolved over his career. He's had a great career. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. But, he had to sit with himself. We talked about that. Came here to the Lakers the first time, exited after the billboards and all that. But when he came back with a different mentality. He brought the same game, but he came back with a different mentality, which was more about team and not about me. He wasn't looking for plays to be called for him. He's seeking a championship. He's one of the best centers defensively that's ever played in this game. So his attitude is I think, what has, propelled him to being consistent, well-liked, and productive. And I just like what he's been able to do.
That this coaching staff and this team, you're able to make adjustments. That's what a series is all about. We saw it in Portland. We saw it again in Houston. And they did that. They said, we're going with Dwight to start the third quarter, even though they usually go to JaVale.
Well, in today's game, in the last, say, 7-8 years, since Golden State started with the small ball, I think a lot of bigs expect this sometimes. They expect when teams like Houston go small and other teams go small, there's no place for them out there if they are a liability. So I think bigs accept that. especially during the playoffs when they know there's a possibility to play in the next round. Been encouraging their teammates, been watching a lot of video of Denver probably, and they were ready.
As I told you guys before, 90-minute post-game after wins. We got a lot to get to. AD's big night. We're going to hear from LeBron. We're going to hear from AD. Lakers defense was stifling, efficient offense, and the role players erupted, including KCP. 18 points, 3 of 5 from 3. Rob picked him. Rob picked him in his take your shot. Let's go back to the bubble. KCP talking with Mike.
All right, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. So first quarter of the Western Conference Finals, Denver scores 38 points, and then it seems like you guys just adjusted quickly. What happened defensively, Kenny, starting in that second quarter and going out throughout the rest of the game as you guys built the lead?
We had a feel about what they was doing, and how much pressure we could put on defense. We kind of turned that defensive pressure up the second quarter and throughout the whole game.
You shot the ball well tonight, 6 of 10. You made 3 threes. I know you've talked about the importance of hitting those shots that are created by your teammates. Kenny, what's helped you get into the rhythm that you're in right now?
Man, just staying ready to shoot. You know, I know most of the time I might not get the look, or just be open. Just be ready to shoot at all times. Or just pass the ball. I was at a good pace, a good rhythm. Just being patient.
What are the main differences between Denver and Houston and Portland, the teams that you've seen? What stands out to you that's going to be key, Kentavious, as you move forward in this series?
We know they're going to be relentless. They're not going to give up, regardless of what the score is or what quarter it is. And we know they're going to give it all they got. From Murray to Joker, they one of their 2 best players. And we got to try to we got to figure out the pick and roll with them. Stay aggressive. And try to limit them within their pick and rolls.
And last thing for you. How did Dwight Howard impact this game, not just in the first half, but then starting the second half with your group?
He was big, just to put that pressure on Joker, and just be there. When we protecting the rim, if the guards get blown by, rebounding, just keeping Denver bigs off the boards. He was so big tonight. He got deflections. He was all over the floor.
I appreciate it, Kentavious.
Let's get to the highlights. LeBron James and the Lakers getting ready for Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Last time they were there, 2010. First quarter, the Brow getting things going. AD, floater, and the roll. Lakers in transition. Mike just talked to him. Kenny, KCP, corner ball. Good. First 3 of the game. Off the pick and roll. This is what they do very well. Murray to Jokic. Rondo creating. Look at this assist. Big game to KCP, the easy finish.
Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off LeBron when Rondo's in the game. As I mentioned, 9 assists, 0 turnovers. Nice dime between 2 defenders for the easy layup.
Rob, there should be a kid's book. Doe and the Brow. Here it is right here. Rondo to AD. Lakers by 4.
Over the top, that's that connection right there. You spin out. Reminds me of B-Shaw and Shaq back in the day. You get that eye contact over the top for a slam dunk.
Jokic loses AD here, drives in for the layup. He has 11 points in 11 minutes. It's 28-24. Clock winding down. It's Jamal Murray. He's going to step back. He's going to hit a 3. Nuggets lead 38-36 at the end of the first quarter. Lakers defense tightens up, and that turns into offense. They are off to a scary start here because LeBron steps on Jeremy Grant's shoe, twists his left ankle, quick panic, tightens up his shoe. He's going to be okay, James.
Yeah, you know what? Strong body can take certain little knocks and nags. LeBron did it. Nice pass by Caruso. They did a good job of finding those pocket passes.
Yeah, 12 assists off 15 field goals, big game, James. Pocket pass indeed. LeBron letting everyone know, including the Nuggets, my ankle is absolutely fine. Markieff Morris, Lakers got him for free. Drains the 3. Morris, 6 straight threes in the playoffs. Danny Green steals the ball. Caruso, lay it up top for the hammer. Lakers up by 11. Be more producer, going nuts.
Every game. I think I say that every game, Caruso to LeBron.
Getting into foul trouble. Jokic, offensive foul, not happy. Dwight Howard. Now he's getting tangled up with the Joker. Another foul. Dwight letting him have it.
It's old veteran moves right there. Just get physical with him, make it look like something's happening. You might get the foul. Dwight Howard very smart, and then get that out of here.
You heard him say it,
coming
didn't you?
over the top for the block, Geeter.
Get that out of here. That's what he said. He got up like he was hitting a quick. Dwight making his presence known. Now it's LeBron. Contact. And one, he screams, and he got it, Rob. Yeah. Off the glass.
That is straight bully ball. Let him know, King James, that, hey, you didn't get the MVP, but you're still king of this game. You should have.
Under 20. LeBron, 32 attempted free throws for the Lakers, third most in the first half in a playoff game since 1997. They lead 70-59 at the half. We call that walk all business. Look at Denver. Jokic, 4 fouls. Dwight creating havoc. James, when you create that kind of havoc on one end, guess what happens? You get rewarded. And here it is.
Alley-oop. Very nice dime by Rondo, rewarding Dwight Howard because someone made a mistake at the other end.
Nuggets trying to stay in it. Murray, 21 points for Jamal. Lakers continuing to increase the lead. AD for 3. His first of the night. How about Dwight in the third, just getting easy buckets off the glass. 10 assists for LeBron right there. Lakers starting to run away with it. KCP, Rob's guy, having a night. LeBron dominant. He's only taken 11 shots with 15 points. Rondo, perfect dime to Dwight. Lakers lead 88-71.
Yeah, they set this up. It was supposed to be out of the timeout, but they messed it up. They came right back to it.
KCP, 16 points for Kenny. Kenny. Look at AD over Jokic. 24 points, 11-2 run.
Yeah, Jokic had more to think about than just offense tonight. He had to guard Dwight Howard, and right there again, AD with the lob. The lob was in tonight.
Doe in the brow. Rondo showing off all night. Look at this bounce pass. Oh, come on. The bench absolutely loving it, James.
Yeah, great bench, great excitement, great chemistry, cohesiveness.
Great vision for him to see the guy behind him, too. Pump fake, fly by.
Vision. Oh, look at that. Get another foul on Jokic. His 5th. 103-79 after the free throws. Lakers resting some people. Rondo. He hits a 3. Rob, what's better in playoff, Rondo?
I don't know.
Playoff, Rob.
I don't know.
Keith. How about Markieff Morris? He's got 7 straight threes, James.
You know what? When the ball is moving the way it is right there, you get those kind of shots over the backboard. But I like the ball movement, I like the spacing, and I like the patience on the offense. But Rondo hitting a horse shot right there. I think I would have an H after he made that one.
That's playoff Rondo.
Most people would, man. That is a tough shot. You got to get Swish in there.
I've only seen one guy in the game make that. Kobe Bryant, over here, over the backboard.
During a game while you were there?
Because it used to be illegal.
Right.
It's legal now.
Lakers go up 1-0 in the Western Conference Finals. 3 wins away from yet another trip for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. AD, KCP, LeBron, the bench scored 48. The team, efficient, 44% from 3, 11 of 25. They had 33 assists. Special performance. Bring in Allie. Allie, I'm going to start with you, actually. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Anthony Davis. We talked a lot this year about what he's going to do in the playoffs alongside LeBron and how this duo is one of the best we've seen, and on paper, how they complement each other. AD in 33 minutes. We know he relishes the games against Jokic and Gobert and those type of players. 37 points on 12 of 21, 10 rebounds. But in the first quarter, Allie, talk about setting the tone, 14 points. The third, 16 points.
Which is awesome. And we could continue to talk about his offense. But I think what we've loved about him all season long, since before he even put on a uniform and stepped on the floor, was what he wants to establish with this team and setting a tone on the defensive end. And I think that's the thing that we have loved also about him when it comes to this matchup, as you mentioned, with a guy like Nikola Jokic. He thinks that that takes his defensive challenge and what is demanded and required of him to the next level. And this is a guy who wanted to be Defensive Player of the Year, could be easily the Defensive Player of the Year, and now he wants to do it among who many are calling the league's best when it comes to the center position. And so I think it allows him to set a tone on that end of the floor that then just makes the offense come so easy for him that we already know because of his ability and skill.
And I think you bring up a great point, James. So often with the guy, if they're working that hard or doing that much on offense, they're kind of resting on defense. It seems it's the opposite for AD. When he's having a dominant performance on defense, it just propels everybody, including himself, offensively.
Well, everyone will tell you, every coach will tell you the defense is what dictates everything. Offense, spreading the energy to the rest of the players, particularly perimeter players, if you know you got a shot blocker back there. But, because he's with LeBron and because he does so much offensively, sometimes I think his defense obviously has gotten overlooked, in my opinion, because I thought he would at least get, Defensive Player of the Year given what he's done for this team. So, yeah, he works hard in a lot of aspects, still learning the game, but by far one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in the league.
Yeah, the thing about him is he can guard guards, he can guard forwards, and, of course, he can guard centers. And when he's out there playing defense, he gets engaged. He keys in because if you look at AD, if you ever talk about his IQ, his IQ is so huge that he knows if he plays defense, it gets his engine roaring. It goes down the offense again. It gets him to second gear, and then go back, and it keeps biting off each other. So his gears are hitting switches all over the place, and he's just a great basketball player. And that's what you always, as a person who watches the game, you appreciate basketball players. And what I mean by basketball players, guys who do it on both ends of the court, offensively and defensively.
Allie, we've seen so many great games from him offensively. And there's always those games where he's got everything going, the three ball, the step back, and you're like, man, this guy's unstoppable. He's leading the break. But usually for me, it seems like it's how he starts the game. When he doesn't hesitate and when he attacks. He sees a matchup and he goes. When he kind of floats out and he lets the game kind of come to him a little bit, it might take him a little longer. But when he goes off for 14 or 12 or 13 in the first quarter, he's on his way.
Yeah, I don't think it's a narrative that we're going to hear from Anthony Davis. Like we kind of heard after rounds 1 and 2, he was talking about how he was thinking a lot on both ends of the floor and trying to figure out where he could be dominant and where he could take over, especially on the offensive end. But nights like tonight, that's not the case. He was reading and reacting, allowing the game, as you mentioned, to come to him. Oftentimes with superstars, you have to look so far within their game because they're just so good at so much. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things where when he has that three ball going, that's when you know he's going to be unstoppable that night. With AD, it's like when he's got that step back going. He's so good with the mid-range game, but when he's got that step back going, when he's making those moves, when he's playing outside of the paint and a little bit more away from the rim, when he's got those shots going, it's AD's night.
I agree. And there's nobody in this league that knows how to put the foot down on the gas in a game to create some separation or to set the tone more than LeBron James. I look at that second and third quarter. Denver scored 38 points in the first quarter. If you go from the second or third quarter after that, combine it 67 to 41. That's a plus 26. And LeBron with 13 in the second quarter, completely dominant.
Yeah, and that's what, they have to their advantage. They have leadership. They have LeBron James, who's been in every scenario. He's been down, he's lost, and he's been able to see this Nugget team in the bubble, what they've been able to do, coming back from 3-1 deficits, beating Oklahoma, beating the Clippers. So he's not going to allow that to happen. He gauges the game, and as soon as they got within, 15, 16 points or so, whatever, you saw a different level. You saw the switch being turned on. Let's finish this. The Lakers have had games where they've allowed teams to get back in it, won some, lost some. But I think in the playoffs, when you have a leader like LeBron James, I think that's going to be a disadvantage to Denver because everyone knows they can come back. But when you got good leadership throughout that game, he's going to gauge when they need to turn it on and turn that switch on.
We talked about Denver putting the league on notice with their comebacks, and they put LeBron on notice. They put the Lakers on notice. They put Vogel on notice. And when you have a veteran team like this, they don't go out there and say, okay, that was a fluke. They said, no, this team is for real. So we're going to go out there and take them serious. Because you watch what the Clippers did against them. They said, oh, they came from 3-1, they're tired. They can't do it again in us. And they didn't take them seriously. This Laker team, you can tell they're taking them seriously. And I'm so excited to see Game 2 to say, okay, this is where Denver usually makes their run, they move. Let's see if we can jump on them and keep them at bay.
8 years, been doing the show with Rob. There are certain things that he gets passionate about, and when he does, it's awesome. It's good for the show, and I love it. We saw it in the pregame show, Allie, and I want you to go after James, but I want to go to Allie first. When LeBron didn't get MVP, and Rob was very passionate about what he thought, and it wasn't against Giannis. It's just more why LeBron should have been, what LeBron brought to this year, how he brought something new and led the league in assists. You know LeBron a long time.
Yep.
Did he let everyone know who the MVP was?
When you only have to score 15 points, yet dictate the floor, and I get really emotional. I get really fired up with you, Rob, because I thought you made a great point in the pregame. Bring something more that you haven't done before. Show me something that you can do better than anyone. His assists, right? 12 assists tonight. He allowed the game to be played through his teammates. He found a way to beat someone in the Western Conference Finals, as you guys mentioned, game 1 that they hadn't done yet in this postseason, by empowering his teammates, understanding who needed the rock, understanding what plays needed to be made. And I believe, as you talk about his leadership, that as much as he dives into X's and O's, film preparation heading into this series, there was one narrative that was surrounding this entire series, and it was what happened with the guys next door. And you better believe LeBron James probably focused on the mental aspect, the mindset, and what is to be required and what is to be necessary for you as a team to come in and get the job done and not allow what happened to those guys next door to happen to us. And I bet that's where his focus lied. And those are the things that are valuable.
Yeah.
Those are the things that make you the league MVP.
Voters don't vote like that. That's why I was talking to these guys in the pregame show. Players see it differently, and coaches. That's why you both said LeBron's the MVP, and he's the MVP in the eyes of everyone in the league.
Yeah, stats are important. The way you play the game is important. Giannis obviously is a young, bright, player in the future, but he's no LeBron James. He doesn't have enough experience yet to know how to lead. That's why I think they shouldn't look at stats and block shots and all that. That is the character. LeBron James came in here, led the league in assists. He knows what teams need. He doesn't come in and just, display all his talent. I mean, he does. He could score 40 every night if he wanted to, but that's not what MVPs do. They monitor. They have the pulse of the team, and it's shown in how they play. Look at what they've been able to do. Their defense is picked up. He brought in AD. He's encouraged AD to get better and be the elite player under the microscope in Los Angeles. So, to me, LeBron James is, hands down MVP. And I think if you ask guys who've been there, and know what it takes, they would agree. But, hey, I don't have a vote in that.
I think Denver is mad that he didn't get MVP because he's taking it out on them.
Yeah, that's true, Rob.
For me, if you look at basketball players, I always value basketball players, the ones who make the people around them better. And if you look at LeBron, he makes the people around him better. And I love the Greek Freak. I think he's a great player. But if you take him and you look at him, did he really make his teammates better? Did he get them in a position to score? Did he do all these things? And we talking about a man who has been in the league over 15 years. Now he takes his game to another level, leading the league in assists, got the best record in basketball. What else do you want this man to do?
Still playing.
Yeah, I'm like,
still playing.
And not taking days off. There's so many things that come into play that these East Coast reporters who are in the bed sleep when LeBron's playing aren't watching or seeing, but we see it each and every night. And they need to take into account that what he's doing as a whole. Is he making his team better? Is he making them better defensively? Yes. Offensively, yes. A better group of people. It's just, to me, I just don't think these people who vote understand basketball.
Love when you're like this, Rob.
I'm going to say what Charles Barkley said. They some idiots.
You put Giannis on the Lakers team, they'll be a pretty good damn basketball team. You put LeBron on Milwaukee.
They're still playing?
And I think you'll see a different Milwaukee team. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's hear from Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. He's speaking with Mike in the media.
Hey, Frank, after Denver scored 38 in that first quarter, what did you see defensively switch to start the second?
Not being happy with giving up 38 points in the first quarter. It was the biggest thing. You know, these guys are extremely difficult to guard, and you know, it's going to take some time for us to figure out all the coverages and be sharp with them. And we know the coverages, but it just sometimes it takes a little time to figure out a team. And you know, I thought we did ratchet up our attention, detail, focus, physicality, effort in the second quarter. I challenged our guys to go have it be one of those games where we go, all right, we gave up a big first quarter. Okay, let's go 20-point quarter, 20-point quarter, 20-point quarter. And they responded to that. We were on a path for that before we, you know, obviously the fourth quarter we didn't play well enough, but they definitely picked up the focus and had a strong defensive night after the first.
Hey Frank, after losing game one from the last two series, you guys came out tonight really in a great rhythm. What did you do differently this time around to play so well from the get-go and throughout this game?
Not much. You know, our preparation was still very, very thorough, as it was in the first two series. Even though we didn't have success in that first game, you know, we still bring in an enormous attention to detail to what we have to do to beat our opponent in these playoff rounds. And you know, we manage the workload very similarly. But we just talked about pregame that even though we lost game one and won the series the last couple of times, that we need to get game one. You know, that this is a very, very impressive team. We don't want to drop any games, and this was an important game for us.
Hey Frank, it's Dave. The fact that you have 35-year-old LeBron, 34-year-old Rondo, 34-year-old Dwight, obviously with that comes the veteran experience, but also you have guys who obviously take care of their bodies. What's the commonality, the common thread you see from those guys in particular being able to perform still, being in the league this long?
Yeah, well, I think those guys, like you said it, they all take care of their bodies really well. You know, Dwight in particular lost a lot of weight coming into this season, wanted to change his body because he's having back issues, and, you know, all that work coming into this year has paid dividends. Rondo works extremely hard. Obviously, you know, LeBron's work ethic is legendary with how he takes care of his body. And, you know, their spirit is young. You know, they continue to, you know, really enjoy the game of basketball, really enjoy the process of preparing for an opponent, study a team, thinking things out, working on those things in practice, and it shows up on the court.
Frank, in the halftime on the broadcast, they showed you asking you guys, what is this team known for? And they all sort of spoke back to you and said second half comebacks. How much did you drill that into, well, I guess you didn't have that many days to do it, but how much did you drill that into the guys that this is not a team that you can feel comfortable around?
Yeah, well, this is an opponent we all greatly respect, you know, and you know, save for the comebacks, we respect what they're capable of doing on both ends of the floor. But to see them go 3-1 back-to-back series, I don't think it's ever been done in the history of the NBA. Just shows that this is an historic type of resilient team, and you know, we got to understand that both with a series lead 1-0 right now and wherever it goes, but also within games. You know, both I think all three of the games that they came back in the previous series, you know, they had first half deficits that they overcame in the third quarter. So they're familiar there. They're confident there, and we got to make sure we keep the foot on the gas.
Promo game.
AC Fresh throws it up. LeBron does the rest. Is he allowed to be doing alley-oops yet?
Yeah, he
can do them now?
He can do it. He can do
Okay.
it. That one was fine because it was less traffic.
Hey, guys, check this out. Elgin Baylor, who just celebrated a birthday, tweets, Nuggets just can't match the Lakers' intensity tonight. Hashtag Denver versus LA. Hashtag Western Conference Finals. 86 years old, tweeting
And he's right.
using a hashtag. 2 of them.
And he's right.
On top of it, he's right.
What's the hashtag?
Oh, my.
I'm only kidding.
No, he's not. He's not, though.
Big game. He's the OG, isn't he?
The real OG. He's the original Laker before Jerry West.
86 in tweeting. That is phenomenal.
That's awesome.
From one Hall of Famer to a future Hall of Famer, LeBron went for 15 and 12 assists in the win. He's now speaking with Mike in the media.
Hey, LeBron, with you and AD, and then in the lineups when Dwight joined you defensively in that front line, what are the ways that you guys can impose yourselves, just your physicality, your athleticism, the collective size? How do you think that can play out in the series?
We just try to follow the game plan, try not to foul and put teams on the free throw line because those are easy points. And then we just trust our game plan. We trust our, what we've been doing all throughout the course of this whole year. We have a lot of length out there with myself, AD, Dwight, KCP, and Danny at the start of that third quarter. And we were able to, get some deflections, get some turnovers, and get out and do what we do best on the break. But, just having that type of size and that athleticism helps us out tremendously.
I know you talked about using game one as a feel-out game. Was there anything even after the first quarter, LeBron, that you guys identified when you think seemed to switch for you defensively starting in the second quarter?
Well, yeah, we knew the first quarter definitely wasn't Laker basketball, Laker defense. And, we just had some breakdowns. We had some breakdowns, but it took a quarter for us to kind of figure it out. Not saying that we fully figured them out because it's too early in the series to say that, but we started to get a better feel, started to get a better rhythm defensively. We started to get some stops in that second quarter and able to build that lead up going into halftime.
Hey, LeBron, it's Dave. We spoke about the MVP award with you back in March, and you said it's not something that's ever motivated you. Your true motivation is trying to be considered the best ever. But when you see the results come out tonight or today, knowing you've won it 4 times, but now you've come in second 4 times, what's that feeling like for you, and what did you think of the results?
Pissed me off. That's my true answer. It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. Not saying that the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP, but that pissed me off. And I finished second a lot in my career, either from a championship and now 4 times as an MVP. Like I said, I never came into this league saying let me be an MVP or be a champion. I've always said I just want to get better and better every single day, and those things take care of itself. There's some things that's just out of my hand and some things you can't control. But it pissed me off.
When you saw did you surprise yourself by the reaction you had when you saw those results? Did you know that? I'm just wondering if you knew that you would have this strong of a reaction to seeing those numbers.
No.
Alec?
Calgoon?
LeBron, do you feel like the MVP criteria is something that rewards the most valuable player in the league?
I don't know. I'm not gonna sit up here and talk about what the criteria should be or what it is. It's changed over the years since I've gotten to the league. I know that. It's just changed. It's changed a lot. Sometimes it's, the best player on the best team. Sometimes it's the guy with the best season statistically. Sometimes it's changed over the course of my career. I mean, you don't know. You don't know, but Giannis had a hell of a season. I can definitely say that.
Anyone else on this end? Tanisha, do you have anybody on your end? Please.
Yeah, just last 2, LJ. We'll go Bill
built long?
Hey, LeBron. In the past, when you had, call them slights or whatever, when you finished second in the past, did it bother you as much? And then the next question would be, how much of your strong reaction do you think has to do with the fact that you've done what you've done in year 17 at 35 with a new team? Does that factor into your kind of emotion here?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm fine. Don't get it twisted. Like, I'm going back to my room. I'm perfectly fine. I mean, we're at 1-0 in the Western Conference Finals. I'm absolutely fine. So don't. Like, I was pissed off at the reaction earlier when I saw it. I'm absolutely great now. I'm going back to my room, drink some wine, and sleep very well tonight. So let's not get it twisted. I'm great. It's just the voting scale is a little weird to me sometimes. I mean, if you take 2012, if you just stick with me here, 2012, 2013, I had a chance to be Defensive Player of the Year and also MVP in the same season. And that year, Marc Gasol was rewarded Defensive Player of the Year. But he made second team all defense. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. It's like being the MVP of the league, but you make second team all NBA. That's when I really started to look at things a little bit kind of like differently. I was like, how does that even make any sense? It's like being rookie of the year, but you make second team all rookie. And then I looked at the most improved this year, and rightfully so, Brandon Ingram was amazing. I thought he should have won it. But did you see the votes that Devontae Graham get? He averaged 4 points last year compared to 17 and a half. If that's not improving, what is? And it's a weird thing sometimes that I don't know how much we are really watching the game of basketball, or are we just in the narration mode, the narrative.
Okay, last question, Bill Plaschke.
Yeah, LeBron, given all this team has been through and all you've had to lead them through this year, how would you compare this to your other MVP years, the years you've won MVP?
I don't even remember. I don't remember actually. I don't know. I don't remember. To be completely honest, this would be hard for me to answer that question. You got another one for me?
Hold on, let me get them back. Oh.
They left. They left the chat.
Yep.
Appreciate you, Brian.
You're all done.
All right, thank you. Thanks, LeBron.
Appreciate it.
He's right.
I did appreciate that, actually.
He's right.
Thank you, James.
He's right, too. He's absolutely right. How are you going to be Defensive Player of the Year and you're on the second team?
It's baffling.
It's bad. And I think, I got no problem with media, but I just don't think they're looking at what players see and GMs and coaches see as most valuable player. I remember Steve Nash got it back-to-back one year, and I was like, okay, Steve Nash is good. Maybe 1 year he should have got it, but twice when Kobe for sure should have got it.
Big time.
For sure. So I was like, at that point, I was like, something's not right. If a writer doesn't like you, or if they don't like LeBron, they shouldn't be voting. I just think they need to change it because they've screwed it up a couple times. In my
you just
opinion.
get stuck in a narrative. It's like AD not getting any votes for Defensive Player of the Year. Just doesn't make sense.
The most valuable thing about, I think, all of this, though, as much as we sit here and we're shocked and stunned and we're kind of just like the media, they didn't know how to respond because I don't think we were ready for him to be so human in that moment. It's been a long time and honest. But the most valuable thing here is how many times he has felt this way. He took us back to 2012 when he feels like, something was robbed of him at that time. To fast forward now to where he is, what he's continued to achieve and accomplish. He'll still go back to his hotel room, as he said tonight, even more so motivated, not because of this, but because who he is. But the fact that he has been able to accomplish through all of this and stay above and rise higher, and he'll still go out and try to handle the task at hand. That's where even that can be very valuable. A guy that can separate what he is pissed off about right now and what the real goal is, because that is the truth. You know, and we've talked about it a lot, and you've even said you've seen it, you know it. It's not just about the MVP for LeBron James, it's about winning titles. He understood when he came to Los Angeles, that's what he needed to do, was to bring a title first and foremost. But there are moments and things like this when you go out and you continue to perform and rise and become bigger and better in statistical categories, when that's what we call the MVP all about in the regular season stats, and you show day in and day out how valuable you are, not just to your team, but to the league. And yet he's going to have to go back to his hotel, turn that off, and continue to refocus and make sure his team's refocused and focused, because this is the one thing too. It's the Western Conference Finals, and you don't want this to ever become a distraction.
Yeah.
And there's so much, to your point, that you got to have your hand on, you got to have a pulse about.
You make great points. I'm glad he said it, though.
If it was me, I would be a bratty little kid. And what I mean by that is, next time NBA asks me to do something, I would like, nope, I'm not going to do that.
Go ask Giannis.
Nope, yeah, go ask, yeah. And that's what you have to look at, you know. It's not like he was not deserving of the MVP and we just want to reward him because he's LeBron James. He deserved MVP because he expanded his horizon. He did more this year than he did last year. And that's what I don't think people are looking like. Well, Giannis, you know, his team has the best record. Their team, you play in the freaking East, man.
Lakers won what, 38
games?
East. Lakers won. I know he missed a lot of games last year. Lakers are what, 11th, 10th, West? First. 3 games away from going to the finals. Tells you right there. All right,
7 more.
Let's hear from the Nuggets young duo of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic.
I just needed a little more. I think I started the game really good. Then I had 3 fouls, and because I'm kind of off. And then I started a third quarter somehow good. I think I was aggressive. But, I mean, we need to do collectively a better job.
Next, we'll go to Dan Wakey. Dan, go ahead.
Their size is very different than the Clippers' size. How did that impact the game tonight?
It is. I mean, they're really good shot blockers. They're attacking the offensive rebound. We just need to measure that. We need to. I mean, I think we can again do the collectively better job of rebound the ball a little bit better, and when someone is going to block the shot, to just find the open guy and make yourself an open guy.
How do you guys moving forward adapt to the whistles?
Just try to play through it. It's tough. They want to talk about every call and have full conversations and try to manipulate what happens, but you can't worry about it. We know it's going to be. We know we're the younger team. We're just going to play through it. We're going to find a way, and we're not going to go away too easy.
More to come on Axe, Speaking with Mike and company.
Hey, Anthony, before we get to the game, just want to see if you want to follow up on any of LeBron's thoughts on the MVP, sort of like what you saw from your teammate, your first year playing together, regular season, all the way up to the point where you are now.
I mean, he deserves it. I mean, what he's been able to do for our team, things he's been doing individually, on a consistent basis, night in, night out. It's not even a question, who deserves it. Year 17, doing what he's doing. I'm pretty sure he said everything that I was going to say, but he, like he said, I think it's just, what people, the narrative people is given. They kind of choose the MVP before the season even starts, and what he's been able to do for us this year, playoffs and regular season. I think if you take him off our team, and we have had games where he didn't play, since we're playing Denver now, when we played Denver, in LA, they beat us by 30. So, I mean, you take him off our team, the things, and the value he brings to our team, that's what it is, most valuable player. And I think he's, very valuable to our team. And if you take him off our team, we definitely take a hit.
And then just switching to tonight's game, what did you think was the key with you guys figuring something out defensively? You held Denver to 20 in the second quarter, I think 21 in the third, or maybe those were vice versa. What did you guys figure out after their big first quarter?
We just had to lock in defensively. We knew that Jamal and Jokic are going to, come out, on fire, come out trying to score, and we just had to make sure that we trying to contain them. I mean, we had the time they did score. They made some good shots, but our coverages was kind of messed up. So we tried to get back to our coverages and do it the right way. And when we did, we got stopped. So just coming out and especially giving up a 38-point first quarter, that's not our defense. And coach challenged us to get better on defense in the second and third and fourth quarter, and be able to lock in and get stops.
Anthony, it's Dave. When things like this happen, anything, a perceived slight towards LeBron, do you ever see that affect his play or change his focus for the better, or it manifests itself in any way where it helps his performance and helps your team?
The MVP thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he locks in. I mean, he goes into a different mode. I mean, he's already in that mode, regardless, because we're trying to win a ring. But, and I know he'd rather, win a ring than win than the MVP award. But, it definitely, sparks him, and like he got a chip on his shoulder, like he got something to prove. I mean, so we see it, and, he knows it. And the team knows it, and we know that if he's going to show it.
Allie?
How good?
I'm going to ask a non-MVP question. You guys were up double digits for a lot of the game. Obviously, you always want to build that, keep that as much as you can, but with Denver and how they've played in these playoffs, does it feel different? Is there more of an urgency to making sure you guys keep those leads?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, no lead is safe with this team, in the game or in the series. I mean, they've proven that they're, a second-half team, where they come out and just basically destroy teams in the second half and prove that even if they're down the series, they're not going to fight. Their team is going to, be resilient and keep fighting no matter what the score is, what the situation is. So, like I said, we haven't done anything special from our group. We know the type of team they are, and it just puts the emphasis on our focus. When we do have to lead, knowing that Jamal can get hot, Jokic can get hot. They pick and roll game can get going. Their other guys start making shots. So, when we have a lead, we have to lock in even more.
Jeff?
Anthony, what did you see from Dwight?
Big minutes. Played extremely well. He was physical with Jokic. Made his free throws. He was great in the pick and roll game. He's talking on defense. And just speak volumes of who he is as a person and as a player. I mean, not to play, in our last series against Houston, and then come out, and be ready to play in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, it's speaks volume of who he is and our team. Guys stay ready. Guys, prepare and put in the work. So when their time is called, they are ready. And he came in and played huge minutes for us tonight, and helped us get the win.
All right, Tanisha, do you have any on your end?
Yep, last two questions. We'll go Melissa Rowland.
Hey, D, two questions for you. One, do you think there's a fatigue factor in terms of when a guy is so good for so long, he can be overlooked in a sense? And then I also wanted to ask you if you think that there's a more fair way for the voting to be done.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say he overlooked. I mean, he's the best player in the league. I mean, every headline is about LeBron James, and everybody talks about what he's done. I mean, but if you look at this year, but he was able to accomplish, regular season and playoffs. It was, for me, it was clear cut that he was the MVP. And I'm not sure how they can do the voting. I mean, I think we can get the players more involved for sure. I mean, we actually the ones who's out there playing against these guys. And, if you look around the league, a lot of players, say Bron should be MVP. These guys go up against him night in and night out and see what he brings to the table and what his value is to our team. So, I think the players for sure should get involved in all the votes.
Hey, Anthony. You guys did a really good job tonight keeping Murray and especially Jokic off the floor, drawing fouls against them, bothering them into fouls. Is that something you guys can actually try to strategize as a team or look for ways to do?
No, I mean, we just try to play our style of basketball. Obviously, when you put their best players in coverage a lot and pick and rolls and things like that, it just wears down a player. When they're trying to fight and got a battle on the other end, the shots that they usually make tend to be a little short, or they look for other guys just because they're playing on both ends of the floor. But I mean, the game plan is not go out and let's get them in foul trouble. We just played physical tonight, and the calls went our way.
Thank you so much, AD.
Great, thanks, AD.
All right, Anthony Davis also weighing in on LeBron James, making the case for MVP that went to Giannis. Let's do a little breakdown. Access 360, Dwight Howard impact.
I don't think we
Who
done
chose
360 with Dwight in a while, but let's do the 360. James, do you want to do it? I know
Who chose him?
You chose two people, James.
I knew I was going to get one
Yeah,
of them
you
right.
did.
All right, we're going to show how Dwight's impact on this game was very key, very important. See, you're at 360. This is what a lot of people don't understand. You meet a guy at the top right here. Look at him. You're going to body him. Jokic doesn't like that. He doesn't like people to bully him. Then he hooks his arm, and he's going to complain about this. The refs have been calling this hook all year. And then Dwight lets him know about it. He says, I'm going to be in your grill all night. Here, you get him up on the defense. You know what? I'll make you pass it. Most guys will quit. Look at his eye. Look, he's watching the ball. You know what? I see you coming. You coming into my territory. You know what? I'm going to beat this up. Get this up out of here. He almost fell on his teammate there, but he's okay. Now, right here, you see him. He's waiting. Look, give me the rock. I'm going to look at him. But you know what? He doesn't give up. He throws Millsap out of the way, get position for this offensive rebound. It goes back up. It should have been the air one, but we all know Dwight don't get calls like that. Now, here we go again. Now, you know what? You've been working hard, Dwight. We're going to give you a little sugar. That's what we call giving a little sugar. You're going to reward it right. Look at this back pick by my main man, KCP. Over the top to Dwight Howard for the dunk. You always have to reward guys who are working hard, especially bigs, because bigs don't get a lot of love in this game. Even my man JaVale McGee said that bigs right now are dinosaurs. They are going extinct. But right there, you have to reward them when they do good, and that's what Dwight Howard did tonight.
Yeah, he was very disruptive. I remember those of you who were born in 1984, we're playing the Celtics, and we had them. We were a better team until they got physical with us. They disrupted us, got us completely out of our game, and then they went on to win that championship. And I think you need that. You cannot allow Jokic to go around and just free for all. And I think Dwight Howard coming in the game with 17 years of experience of knowing how to just touch up on guys, get in the way, wrap up arms. You never know what's going to happen. I think it got Jokic off his game early. And I think Murray got frustrated too. The Lakers had 10 steals, so they were putting their hands in there, taking away some of those little easy passes that he makes. They got physical with him too, so they're going to have to think about that. This is not Oklahoma. This is not the other team. This is the Lakers, and this is what we do.
Real nice. All right, take a look at a couple of tweets here from LeBron James, Dwight Howard, and Doe. Flat out amazing tonight. Big time. Double down here, though. Got one more. 16 out of 101. Okay. Cool. I got y'all.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool. Wow. But and when you put that together,
what that means, right?
16 out of 101. That's nothing, man.
That's nothing. Rob is very passionate.
16%, man. That's terrible.